But welcome everybody. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button.
I remember in middle school when you felt self-conscious if you were the last one to go through puberty. That really went topsy-turvy, didn't it?
Sometimes the house it's too much explaining yourself and it's too apologetic.
Be sure to hit the notifications bell.
I actually do believe Israel won't just bomb countless civilians.
Be sure to tweet this out. Be sure to put this up on your Facebook.
You have to be kind to people. Be kind to the guys in this mess in the first place.
Put this up on your Reddit.
Chile is a country.
Be sure to cut and paste a link to this to go into your favorite Facebook chat group.
It's good to see so many normal people in here.
Now, spanking isn't just my deep, dark personal secret. It's America's deep, dark secret.
I've never seen it explained so simply anywhere.
Put this on WhatsApp. Put this on Telegram. Put this on your favorite messenger app.
Hello and welcome to the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. I'm your host, an Untitled Anarchist Seagull called Elise. And Jesus fucking Christ, what a weekend it's been. I claim absolutely no originality in remarking that it doesn't seem like a real coincidence that CBP decided to just brutally execute somebody after the huge humiliation they had yesterday. That just seems fairly straightforward that there will have been harangues at roll call to go and get some sort of retribution over just the level of humiliation of the strike yesterday. And it's important to note, it may seem to some like as kind of a pedantic distinction to raise, but it was CBP that murdered, let me get his name right, Alex Preddy. It was CBP and not ICE. And the reason that's an important distinction and not just a pedantic thing to talk about is that the thing about CBP is that as completely unaccountable as ICE are, CBP gets even less scrutiny. I mean, what they get up to on the southern border, I mean, it's basically between them and the refugees that they sometimes like fucking murder and the coke dealers that they assist in their importation process. Now basically there is no serious scrutiny of what CBP gets up to, and a lot of the time ICE has become sort of a colloquial synonym for all immigration cops, no matter what agency they're for. And here's the thing that's actually kind of just occurred to me as an entirely conceivable thing that we should be on the lookout for. Because it could be that the outrage gets to the point where abolishing ICE becomes, a thing that has to happen. And you could conceivably have a situation, I mean, it's entirely possible, of course, that the Democrats will refuse to do it even then, because just fucking look at them. I mean, seriously, just look at them. But let's say they do. Now, one thing you might want to do, if on the one hand you know it is politically unfeasible to maintain a particular type of a death squad under a particular brand, but you want to have the death squad still, is what you could do is you could take that funding and just move, you disband ICE. There's no longer an institution called ICE. Wow, yay, we've abolished ICE. And the money, and the equipment, and all the budget, and the personnel go over to some special unit, maybe an existing one, maybe a new one, under the CBP umbrella. And they continue doing the shit they've been doing all along. That is a very conceivable thing to happen in the relatively unlikely eventuality that ICE actually just, that the Democrats actually ever abolish ICE. But I could totally see that happening, and that's why we really that's one of various reasons we absolutely should not be sleeping on CBP. the American Federation of Government Employees issued the most piss-weak statement possible about the murder of one of their members at the hands of CBP. I mean, it's all full of, we really don't know what happened, we shouldn't jump to conclusions. I mean, it feels like fucking Matt Miller wrote it. I mean, it was crystal clear what happened within minutes of it, because it was on film, on multiple cameras, there were tons of witnesses, everybody knows what fucking happened. The only debate is between people who care that reality exists and that we should try to approximate it in our descriptions of things, and people who reject reality as a basis for anything. Speaking of people who reject reality as a basis for everything, I had mentioned yesterday that a certain jabroni of our acquaintance was about to put up a video that would be absolutely buck wild. I think it's more or less guaranteed, and it wasn't up yet yesterday, but it's up now. So how's everybody doing, John? Okay, and the video is called "We Are Not Getting Into ICE Drama, We Are Anti-Revisionist." Because apparently, like, objecting to death squads carrying out war on the working class, including especially the most marginalized sections of the working class, apparently that's revisionism, according to Caleb. They're very special. They're innovationists, but they're not revisionists, whatever the hell that means. Okay, good, okay. It was live when I looked at it a few minutes ago. It is no longer, so. Here we go. He's still out of focus. Let's see how...
Hey, everybody.
I can't wait to hear why it's revisionism to, like, to actually deal with the thing that a significant sector of the working class is up in arms over. Like, it's like, is innovationism very clearly is just there to smooth over the contradictions.
Welcome. It's been a while. Glad to see you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's have yet another great late night chat, shall we?
Ooh, I can't wait. Can you wait, chat? We're gonna have a great late night chat.
Spoken of the American century. I say that the century on which we are entering can be and must be the century of the common man.
I mean, because he is horny for FDR.
A radical redistribution of economic power.
He's about to talk about how it's revisionist to want to resist white supremacist death squads. And he's got fucking MLK in there. That's classic. Oh, and Fred Hampton, because, you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, if there was one thing that Fred Hampton and the Panthers stood for, it was that, like, resisting racist violence from the state is revisionism. Like, have you actually, Caleb, have you actually read the people that you've put in your fucking credits montage?
Everything would be alright if everything was put back in the hands of the people.
We need a government that will make sure...
The amount of energy that could be generated by the three people, well, the last two certainly, spinning in their graves at the idea that they're being placed in the same, like, sequence with this guy.
Care of and organize the economy to serve the people, not the profits of a wealthy few.
We now have the techniques and the resources to get rid of poverty.
We got to start getting out there with the people.
Get out of the movement and get to the masses.
We need a government of action.
I mean, that is... He really is trying to make that slogan a thing. Well, I mean, if it's the CPI, then maybe they should use the Challenger launch.
Welcome, 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 everybody. If you're in the part of the country that I'm in, I hope that you're staying warm. I have a sweater on, and it's bad out there. It's going to be a winter storm. It's just cold. I mean, it wasn't snowing earlier today, but it was just very, very cold.
And going out in the cold to resist state terror, I guess that's probably revisionism. I have to say, so far the snowpocalypse is really... I mean, it shouldn't have RSVP'd if it wasn't going to show up. There's like a little bit of snow coming. We were supposed to have like 14 inches by now. It hasn't happened yet. It is, however, fucking freezing.
I have just gotten over being sick. We had a great event on January 11th. Absolutely tremendous. Somewhere between 80 and 100 people attended. At least 8.
What's with his fucking buttons?
My goal was 40, and we had a tremendous event. Everyone who was there, thank you. Everyone who helped out with it, thank you. You know, speech while I had the flu, but I pressed through. And
oh, that's great. So we went in sick with no mask, and so now the C and CPI stands for COVID.
And I just had to get over the flu, but now I seem to be back at my full health. And we're keeping warm here in cold January in my lovely Brooklyn apartment. And I'm just really glad to be back. And I thank you all for being patient. It certainly was...
I mean, if there's one thing being connected, being like aware of Caleb Maupin will do, it will force you to learn patience.
Frustrating to not be able to stream because I was just coughing and weak from the flu. But I'm back at full health, it appears. And I've got plenty to talk to you all about. And I'm glad to be back.
Well, he's more nasal than usual, too.
Thank you all for being here. And, you know, between our great event that we had on January 11th and now today...
This is from today, I should say. This is from today, and this is what he leads with. Their great event, and it's cold. Like, a motherfucker got murdered, executed in Minneapolis. Now, the National Guard, I've been seeing reports, has already been deployed by Waltz, not by Trump, and they are now harassing protesters. But this is what he's talking about.
The need for the kind of work that we are doing with the Center for Political Innovation.
What work is that?
I don't want to get ahead of myself.
What is it? What would you say you do here?
So we're just going to have a normal late night conversation the same way we always do. So if you've got something you would like me to talk about in the second half of the show, the best way to send your question is to buy me a coffee. A number of people bought coffees while I was gone, so I'm going to be answering a lot of questions in the second half of the show. But please send questions, right? That's what I'm here to do.
Okay, is there any way to interact with him that doesn't involve paying him money?
Answer your questions. You can also do Rumble Rants, and you can Cash App me, Caleb Maupin 22.
Please,
yeah, I'm here to
don't
engage with all of you, and that's really about it. As far as announcements, you know, the Center for Political Innovation is having a tremendous national gathering. Our national convention will take place.
I'm sure it's going to be tremendous. Like, maybe there might be 40 people there.
August 15th. And our 7-day program for people that want to spend 7 days with us.
This is how you know that he is an anti-revisionist. Despite being an innovationist. Like, okay, which already seems like a contradiction, but see, because he's avoiding actually talking about the actual heightened fucking struggle that is going on. I guess if you were to talk about that with your tiny little cult, they would realize that there was shit going on outside of the tiny little cult and wonder why they never get to do anything interesting.
Get involved in, you know, the process of becoming an innovationist and all of that.
Well, the process of becoming an innovationist.
7-day program in Chicago, August 12th through 19th. So that'll be happening, and it's a long way off. We got a lot of building to do. I'm planning to.
Well, how many cities are they going to build in that time? They are city builders, you see.
Go around the country for a series of workshops between now and then. We're having some house parties on March 15th.
God.
A lot of things are happening.
A Caleb Maupin house party? That somehow makes me think of the party scene in Ghostbusters with Rick Moranis, where he walks around and is like, yeah, and I'm writing this all off as a promotional expense. That's why I invited clients instead of friends.
I must say, we've had a number of new memberships come in. We've got new members in West Virginia. Shout out to you. We've got new members in New Jersey. We've got new members in California. And if you're a new member, make sure to check your spam and your inbox to make sure you're getting the invite to our weekly meetings. It's very exciting during the second half. Send it via Buy Me a Coffee. Also, do Rumble Rant.
Well, he really wants to make sure that you know about giving him money. I mean, and I will say I'm not precious on this subject. I mean, I like it when people give me money too, but I also do not run a creepy-ass Nazbol, not exactly even you can't even really call it a sex cult.
Individual, 37 years old, was apparently including this individual, just today, just this morning, awful. This ICE controversy, what's going on with ICE is awful.
This ICE controversy. The ICE controversy.
It's absolutely horrible. Just today, just this morning, there was another shooting. This individual, 37 years old, was apparently armed, but it looks like, according to the video, he was disarmed before he was shot. So he did not have his gun on him at the time he was killed, according to...
Yeah, I mean, and what he was doing, I mean... let me see. Okay, I should wait. Let me see his full version before we say anything.
The latest video, what happened to Renee Good, this woman who was confronting the Immigration Customs Enforcement officers, was kind of following them around.
She wasn't following them around, though.
Their work in her...
I mean, let me be clear. It's good that people are following them around, but that's not what she was doing. She was, trying to drop some stuff off at home. And she was letting people pass because she was trying to get into her fucking driveway. And when this guy went after her, she tried to drive off because they told her to fuck off.
Her van, and she was shot and killed. They claim that she was using her car as a weapon.
They claim that, Caleb... We have it on film,
Doesn't look that way if you look at the video. This is awful. All right, the whole situation is awful. And
well, I mean, it just sounds like it. He's so fucking moved by this.
I don't want anyone to misinterpret what I am saying.
Oh, okay. He doesn't want people to misinterpret what he's saying.
I'm not defending ICE at all.
I mean,
I've said over and over again that the way the Trump administration is dealing with the crisis of mass migration is only going to make the problem worse.
The crisis of mass migration, he's already he's not defending ICE at all. He's just accepting the white nationalist framing of what's going on. Because the thing is, yeah, you could say there are people in crisis, and that is why they are migrating as refugees. That's true. The people are in crisis. But when you start talking about it this way, the idea is to say that the people are the crisis. And that's the framing that he is just completely accepting here.
Right? If you force immigrant communities into the shadows, that's how the employers get away with paying them low wages. That's how
well, yeah, that's immigration law.
Gangs flourish because communities are afraid to cooperate with law enforcement. There is a problem of mass migration.
I mean, for the people doing the migrating, that's why they have to migrate.
People are fleeing their homelands and coming here in big numbers. They can't remain in their home countries. Neoliberal economics is destroying countries throughout the developing world.
Well,
you know,
I mean, it is really impressive how he manages to just deflate any sense of urgency from any of this. Like, there are death squads fucking roaming around Minneapolis, and now apparently they're also starting to show up to some extent in Maine. And he's just sitting here, I mean, he's talked more about the crisis of mass migration, as if, like, the number of people who actually come to the U.S. is somehow not manageable to the U.S., which is bullshit. There aren't that many. Because the U.S. makes it very hard for anyone to get in the first place.
The idea that we're going to solve it by building a giant wall or terrorizing communities, that's not going to work. It's not going to solve the problem.
No, well, maybe the thing to do is look at what problem they might actually be trying to solve by terrorizing communities. Because clearly they've decided terrorizing communities is a thing they want to do, and they probably have a reason for it. And it may not be solving the migration crisis.
Do I want to abolish ICE? Sure. But I also want to
sure.
abolish the FBI.
Like, okay. Why is that a but, though? Yeah, I mean, yeah, fuck the FBI.
And I want to abolish the CIA.
I mean, yeah. But, so what? Like, what's your point?
I want to abolish all the institutions that have been created to serve imperialism. So, you know, we're not here to tell people that what's going on with ICE is somehow okay. It's not.
I mean, yeah, the fact that he has to preface it like this.
It's awful. It's absolutely awful.
This is gonna, I mean, I'd said a second ago that the AFGE's statement about the murder of Alex Preddy was piss weak. This is going to make it look like it's fucking high-octane Belgian ale.
Not what I'm here to do. So if you got the wrong impression from the title of this stream, you know, and you think that I'm supporting ICE or something, or you think I approve of what they're doing, or I don't think it's an outrage, you're wrong, because that's not what I'm saying.
He just doesn't think you should do anything about it.
Looking at this situation, and I see this as part of a process, right? How was ICE created? ICE was created, you have the Department of Homeland Security that was created by George W. Bush, that...
I mean, it was created by a bipartisan vote, it's worth noting, but yeah, Bush presided over it.
Administration's push for indefinite detention, declaring that people could be held without charges. And they claimed that people could be held without charges. People were held in Guantanamo Bay.
Still are being held in Guantanamo Bay, actually.
Without any criminal charges. And they were declared enemy combatants. And Guantanamo Bay was created.
I mean, yes, this is no... I mean, I take absolutely no exception to this. This is how we got here. This is, and some people who were around at the time when the Department of Homeland Security was new were in fact warning that this is exactly the road it was going down, and saying we should not have the Department of Homeland Security. And it's been really nice to see that some people are starting to say that actually, you know, getting rid of ICE is good. ICE needs to go. But DHS needs to go too, and absolutely it does, and we should be fighting for that.
Torture went on, and then Obama came into office, and what started under Bush, the drone strike program, continued under Obama, which is the President of the United States declared he had the right to kill.
I mean, we're going to talk about the mass deportations too, though, because we are talking about ICE.
Anybody. And he could just kill people.
Like, what is his... Does he actually have a theory of how whatever kind of bullshit revolution he apparently wants to have, an innovationist revolution... God, that sounds so crap. How that gets started? Like, does he think that these things start by something other than people being utterly outraged at some aspect of what is going on under the existing system and forcing the issue until that system cannot hold. Like, what exactly? How does he think any of like? What is his theory here? I've never heard him say it. I've never heard him actually say how we get to whatever the hell he's doing, except that apparently if you give him money, eventually it will work.
Process without anything. The president declared certain people to be terrorists, and he signed off on it. And then these flying machines, these drones, killed them. In fact, Obama even killed a U.S. citizen.
Actually, several.
Without due process. There was somebody who was declared to be a terrorist who was a U.S. citizen. And the president, without a trial, without any proceedings, Obama signed off on it.
Yeah. I'm still waiting to hear why we are... How does he put it in this video on the title? He's not doing ICE... We're not getting into ICE drama. ICE fucking drama.
Killed him. And that drone strike program continued. And there are just...
Yeah, and it continued with Trump as well. Actually, he's talking about the family of Anwar al-Awlaki. And, I mean, Obama murdered Awlaki and his U.S. citizen 16-year-old son and then made a joke about it on the next day. And Trump murdered al-Awlaki's daughter, actually. So that's just a little something, a bonding experience between the two of them.
Example after example of this. This is a process. When you enter a long-term economic crisis, the divisions within the ruling class intensify, and you get the centralization of power.
I mean, this does not seem to be an example of the divisions in the ruling class, though, actually. The ruling class seems remarkably united when it comes to this.
And struggles among different factions of the ruling elite. And this is a process. And I oppose all of it. And I am against all of it.
Okay. Okay, he likes big butts and he cannot lie. Let's hear the butt.
And I don't want to see any of it. And I don't justify it.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't want to see any of it. That's why he's not going to Minneapolis.
Justify the police brutality that the black community's been facing. I've been opposing that. And,
how have you been opposing that? I've never even fucking heard you talk about it. Oh, that's right. That time that he took some video back when he was a student in Cleveland, and he used it in court, and then he put it on his resume, and he still fucking crows about it today.
Recording the police long before Black Lives Matter had ever been tweeted. I video recorded the police.
Ooh, wow, he invented Black Lives Matter.
Got 2 young women acquitted.
Oh god, I fucking called it. This is his credentials for opposing fucking racist police terror here. The fact that he did this, like, I guess it's got to be going on 20 years ago now. Have you done anything like that since, Caleb? I feel like if you'd done anything like that since, we'd have heard about it by now.
Juvenile court because of what I videotaped in terms of police brutality. Don't approve of that. I don't approve of what's been done to different communities. I don't approve of the way the FBI targeted pro-Palestine activists.
I mean, who gives a shit if you approve of it? Supposedly, your organization is meant to be, like, somehow revolutionary. I mean, I certainly see a lot of books here with something to do with revolution in the title. Well, actually, now I'm looking at it. I mean, I only see one with revolution in the title, to be honest. Let me just make sure about that. Yeah. Okay. But, like, it's not enough, like, who gives a shit if you approve it? What are you doing about it?
During the...
I mean, I think, though I have to say, I think we should thank our lucky stars that he's not somehow trying to stick his oar into that.
Administration, or even right up now under the Trump administration. I don't approve of how Ashley Babbitt was shot simply for protesting inside the U.S. Capitol building.
I mean...
Arbitrarily executed. I don't approve of how the Uhuru movement had their homes raided by the FBI, and they tried to, throw them in prison for 15 years simply for their anti-war speech, wanting peace with Russia. I don't approve of that. I don't approve.
Well, like, okay, but who... Wow, he does... There's a lot of stuff he doesn't approve of. He doesn't approve of a lot of things, chat. I mean, you can't... And it's very interesting because I feel like the butt keeps on getting bigger. I mean, even Sir Mix-a-Lot would say it's overkill by now.
Any of this. You shouldn't either, right? This is not good. And this is liberal Western democracy breaking down and collapsing into illiberal authoritarianism.
I mean, it's funny how he also avoids talking about fascism. I mean, given that he is actually not averse to fascism, maybe that might be a bit of why.
Amid a long-term crisis. That's what's happening. And I oppose it. And I'm not even...
No, like, okay, but how do you oppose it? Like, I mean, it is one thing, yeah, for somebody, you know, who's just a vox pop, you know, on the street. Somebody just said, you know, somebody gets a microphone. What do you think of what ICE is doing? They say, oh, I hate what ICE is doing. That's one thing. But this guy has decided to create an organization with the entire idea that what he thinks is like important and revolutionary, and they're going to do great things or whatever. And all he's got is, oh yeah, of course I don't like that.
Necessarily saying that other people shouldn't go out and protest against what ICE is doing. I mean, if you...
He's not necessarily saying that people shouldn't protest. Not necessarily.
That's the best use of your time.
If you think that's the best use... Let me play that again. I mean, wow. I think I've heard Chuck Schumer give a stronger statement than this.
You know, throw them in prison for being arbitrarily executed. I don't approve of how the Uhuru movement had homes for their anti-war speech. Not good. And this is liberal, Western, illiberal authoritarianism. I'm not even necessarily saying that other people shouldn't go out and protest against what ICE is doing. I mean, if you think that's the best use of your time.
Which... Riveroon, hey, I think by my answering you can see that Twitch chat is showing up. What, is YouTube chat not showing up? Oh, that's weird. YouTube, seems to be not connected. Yeah, actually, I'm looking at this, and it says, strangely, on YouTube, stream finished. So what I'm gonna do is reboot the stream. And see if we can fix that. That seems to be the problem. So, hang on. Everybody who's on YouTube, it looks like it's weird. It's showing that there are people watching on YouTube at the same time as it's claiming for some reason that stream is finished, which it obviously isn't because you're watching. But apparently your chat isn't showing up, so I'm gonna restart this. Keep an eye out on my channel in both places. And... okay. I'm back. Let's see. It says 2 of 2 on my little OBS chat window. Somebody on YouTube, if you're seeing this, send something in chat.
Great. What I'm here to tell you is that getting involved in this...
Okay, I'm just gonna back this up. Testing, hey Riveroon. Okay. Good news, YouTube is working. Glad to see it. I'm going to back this up, just since we just had this minute of delightful technical difficulty bullshit, so everybody can make sure we're on the same page here. Hey, Adria. Okay, good. Okay, whatever it is seems to be working now.
And collapsing into illiberal authoritarian. And I'm not even necessarily saying that other people shouldn't go out and protest against what ICE is doing. I mean, if you think that's the best use of your time, great. What I'm here to tell you is that getting involved in this, at the end of the day, I don't see how getting involved in a struggle being led by the voices of power in the United States. I don't...
Like, which voices of power? I mean, Tim Walz and Jacob Fry did not even express the slightest support for the strike yesterday until it was already massively underway. Like, the voices of power are not supporting this.
See how adding your voice into something coming from CNN and coming from the Democratic Party.
The Democratic Party who voted to fund ICE. So what he's saying is he's not saying don't protest ICE, don't defend your community against the death squads. Yes, he is. Good spotting. He's saying that if you feel like that's a good use of your time, that's fine, but he wants you to know that he thinks that you're actually just a Democratic Party plant. Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying, Riveroon. That is really weird.
Is going to make anything better in the country. That doesn't mean what ICE is doing isn't wrong. That doesn't mean there's not reasons to be upset. But I don't see how those of us who are anti-imperialists joining the bandwagon.
the bandwagon here being of the working class. Let's just be clear.
I don't see how it's productive.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point of struggle? I mean, what has struggle ever done in the cause of anti-imperialism?
See how it's going to advance things. So what happens, right?
So what happens, I guess, is that you're the defining struggle of our time. You've decided to just sort of sit out, which is incidentally. I mean, he's like sitting here like. Talking about how supposedly this is the Democratic Party behind this extremely organized community defense effort in Minneapolis that the Democrats are doing fuck all for. It's worth remembering. And therefore he's going to take Chuck Schumer's position on all this.
So, Donald Trump is hated by
everybody.
Many sections of the American power structure. He's that.
Well, yes, but he's hated by lots of people. I mean, Joe Biden, it's worth noting, was also hated by the fash. Is he saying that? I mean, and by certain aspects of the U.S. power structure. So clearly, by his standard, he shouldn't have been criticizing Biden either.
By other sections of the American power structure. They're calling him Hitler. They're calling him fascist.
They're giving him weapons. They're giving him internet censorship powers.
And they go out and they're mobilizing. They've got CNN sending people out there to mobilize. And
wait, CNN is sending people out there to mobilize? This is actually more full of shit than Tim Pool's treatment of it. You remember that yesterday? I mean, admittedly, he didn't stay on topic for more than about 3 seconds before they decided to talk about their really racist reasons that they like Japan and why Japan is disappointing because it doesn't satisfy it doesn't scratch their fucking white supremacist itch. But I think they actually did more justice to the reality, which is not saying anything, than this is.
They go out and they hysterically call him awful things and mean, he's
Yeah,
done plenty of awful things, like kidnapping Maduro, like bombing Iran,
like, I mean, the fucking murder of Renee Good, the murder of Alex Pretty, the murder of, I think it was like 23 people by ICE and CBP last year, at least. Like, lots of things, actually.
being pro-Palestine students now.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if the idea might be to struggle against that.
This is, apparently been going into people's homes without warrants, right? There's a memo, a smoking gun memo, where ICE authorities have been told that they could go into people's homes without warrants, and so what happened? So
yeah, I mean, he managed it. It is. I at some point remarked during one of his really, really soporific discussions of what little he remembers and understands of Marx, that somehow he manages to take like all of this like revolutionary theory and ideology and everything and squeeze every bit of emancipatory content out of it. Like, just squeeze anything revolutionary out of it so that it's just nothing. So that it's just crap. And it's really impressive how he's managing to do this. Like, you have fucking death squads on the street. This guy, in the first iteration of CPI, had a group of people called the John Brown Volunteers. Yeah, he sounds so fucking bored by it. They got people kicking down doors illegally. You got death squads on the street. Look, I mean, if you care about that sort of bullshit, I guess it's okay if you protest. I mean, I'm not gonna stop you, but I just want you to know that you're just literally sucking Chuck Schumer's dick.
Kamala Harris and Amy Klobuchar and
none of these people have actually come out against ICE.
They oust Trump. Then what?
I mean, wait, they oust Trump. When are they going to do that?
Then what? How do things get better?
Is that what he thinks is going on in Minneapolis?
And so what happens? We use our resources and our time as anti-imperialists to go and help the
victims of imperialism.
Democrat Party, the same party that raided the homes of the Uhuru movement and used the FBI.
The same party that has just voted to like triple ISIS funding as well. Yes, they'll say, oh, it was only 7 people, but isn't it interesting how it's always just the number of Democrats that are needed to make it happen? At this time, and then with the shutdown, it's like whatever number are needed in order to make it happen, whatever the minimum is, somehow they vote for it.
To go after anti-imperialists, the same agency that has that their platform is that we should never negotiate with Russia. We should fight in Ukraine to the last Ukrainian.
I mean, okay, so what exactly are you saying should be done?
Opposed to the negotiations that are happening.
I mean, he's already moved away completely. He does not want to talk. I think he knows that I find it interesting that he doesn't have a chat that you can actually look at on screen like a lot of streamers do. I mean, he does. He streamed this live. In fact, like his stream ended about 3 minutes before this one began. But he does not seem all that keen on actually having people's responses show up. Okay, let me see. Do we have a live chat replay here? Because I'm just curious what his fucking viewers are saying about this. Because it seems like he really does not. He actually has a video on a book supposedly written by himself, probably not edited by anyone because nobody could actually bring themselves to read it, on AI.
Right now in Dubai, that could potentially end the Ukraine war. The same Democratic Party that not only did they blindly support Israel, but wouldn't even let a Palestinian speaker or an Arab American speaker speak at their convention.
I mean, yeah, but we're not talking about the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party hasn't anything to do with this. Like, I mean, this guy is managing to make the Democratic Party look more relevant than the Democratic Party has managed to make themselves look.
So we're just supposed to...
I mean, if you actually... you remember, actually, I had yesterday the stream from Status Quo News. They were interviewing people in Minneapolis yesterday, and nobody had anything nice to say about the Democratic Party.
We're just supposed to go out and use our resources to...
defend some fucking neighbors against a death squad? Why the fuck would we do that?
Bring them to power? And then what?
Like, how does he think that works? What is the flowchart between kicking goon squads out of people's neighborhoods and bringing Kamala Harris to power, which, I mean, nobody wants?
How do things get better?
Well, I think the way things get better is that then, I mean, if you make it impossible for the death squads to show up in people's neighborhoods, then people don't have to worry about the fucking death squads. I think that's maybe how that makes things better. Less death squads.
I mean, I don't see how things get better by us joining a liberal bandwagon.
I mean,
honestly, if people had been doing what you're supposed to be doing,
what are you supposed to be doing?
What should be done?
Okay, finally, we get to hear what should be done.
Had been doing that, we'd be in a very different situation. Right?
What should be done? Okay, so we've talked about what shouldn't be done.
We'd be in a very, very different situation.
Like what? Like, so what should have been done according to the Caleb?
And I actually wanted to use this whole ICE controversy.
The ICE controversy? Shut up.
Which is, I mean, I look at the situation. Look, it's indefensible. It looks like ICE has killed at least 2 people unjustifiably. It looks like ICE is going into people's homes without warrants.
Yeah, very true, Riveroon. How could someone so intellectually lazy write several books in a year? I'd be surprised if he reads that many in a year.
I'm opposed to that.
But not in any meaningful way.
Stop this kind of thing?
Well, I mean, one thing that might stop this kind of thing is if the death squads find that they can't go into any neighborhood without being swarmed by local people who are not taking any of their shit and are not going to allow anyone to be abducted on their watch. I mean, that's one thing that might stop this shit, because they're not prepared for that. I mean, the whole idea is they want to see how much they can get away with. Except he seems to have skipped over that part. He's like, yeah, so, you know, if you'd done what we should have done, things would be different in some unspecified way. And then he just skips over the part where he says what should have been done.
What's actually going to stop this kind of thing? And what is behind all this? The people that are out in the streets, you know, they had a big parade yesterday in Minneapolis.
I mean,
they called it a general strike.
I mean, because about a quarter of the population of Minneapolis, at the very least, went out on strike.
Hilarious. It's not a general strike. A general strike is when labor unions, Peter Coffin had a great article about this that he wrote.
I mean, if he doesn't read his own books, that is the best thing you can say about his taste.
Wrote on his Substack. A general strike is when labor unions and community organizations force businesses to close, and, you know, it's community organizations and labor...
This is so funny, because that's actually a good description of what went down in Minneapolis yesterday.
flexing their muscles and shutting down the economy in order to get what they want. That's not what happened.
Okay,
The regular business community and the Democratic Party, they all voluntarily...
no, they didn't. Again, like, the Democratic Party did not support that.
...closed down their businesses, and they had a big parade. A parade is not a general strike.
Well, see, it's not... that's true, a parade is not a general strike. But the thing is, in order to be able to have that many people marching down the streets, and that's not counting the people who are undoubtedly pulling guard duty in their neighborhoods, because they apparently actually have guard duty shift rosters in a lot of areas now. It is that organized. You can't do that on a Friday, i.e. a work day, unless a whole lot of people are not going to work.
It was not a general strike what happened. That was a parade. They had a parade, an anti-Trump parade in Minneapolis yesterday, sponsored by the Democratic Party.
I mean, not like, I mean, he manages to make the Democrat. It's like, it's a lot like actually the way the Republicans managed to make the Democrats look so much better than the Democrats ever make themselves look.
Sponsored by, you know, George Soros and the Open Society Institute. I mean, it's
it's Soros, is it?
You know, and you know, I see people. I'm on a lot of leftist email lists, and I see them.
Okay, leftist email lists. Why do you have him on there? What's he doing on a leftist email list?
Calling this a glorious uprising or something. Are you kidding me?
I mean, you have entire communities that are physically resisting ICE. I think that's a pretty serious uprising, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It was briefly in focus for a second there.
Like, I mean, this is something that, again, it's not to say that there aren't bad things happening.
Yeah, it's not to say that there aren't bad things happening, but you gotta understand the way to make any of this better is to, like, watch Caleb Maupin sulk. Because all the cool shit is happening elsewhere.
But we have a unique understanding of why it's happening.
I mean, so far, nothing he said... Like, okay, the things that he said that have been valid are so far from unique.
And we know what can stop this.
Well, what can stop this then? Like, okay, you're saying don't have an uprising against Death Squad terror. Then what do you do?
And us joining the bandwagon is not going to advance.
We've covered that. We've covered that. So you're going to talk about what you will be doing to stop this.
In any way, what's going to stop this?
Yeah, well, okay, what is going to stop this?
And I wanted to use this...
Oh, here he goes. He's skipped. He's not going to talk about what's going to stop this. He knows what's going to stop this. He is the ideological leader of the CPI. He knows what's going to stop this. He's just not going to tell you. It's like when Li Hongzhi of Falun Gong gave that interview, I think, at Vanity Fair years and years ago. And he said, you know, all our members can levitate. They just choose not to.
As a way of kind of talking to you all about...
Kind of talking, okay. So one of the things, I guess, that will stop this is him kind of talking.
Our perspective and understanding where the innovationist movement...
The innovationist movement...
from. And I'm going to talk about that tonight because when it really gets down to it... we are the ultimate anti-revisionists.
The ultimate anti-revisionists.
We are the ultimate anti-revisionists.
He's decided, he got so sick of communists calling him a fake communist that he decided to change the entire name of their ideology from fake communism to real innovationism, because he's just so far away from what anyone of any, like, communist tendency, you know, not just, you know, ANCOMs like me, but, like, just regular-ass MLs and whatnot, that he had to move away from that completely. But he's the ultimate anti-revisionist.
And it's funny because some people might look at me.
I mean, that sounds like the crappiest action figure. Ultimate anti-revisionists!
And the Center for Political Innovation say, well, you know, you reject dialectical materialism. You believe in God. You don't even call yourself communists anymore. You're
I mean, you never were.
not even calling yourselves communists. You are the ultimate revisionists.
I mean, I would consider that to be so much... That is so much more complimentary than most descriptions I've ever heard of him.
And actually, if you're saying that, you don't get it. You don't get it. We are the real anti-revisionists.
The real TRAR, TRAR. The real
That's
anti...
what we are. And if you really understood what revisionism and anti-revisionism is...
I mean, I'm so glad that there's nothing else going on so we can hear him talk about revisionism. Because we've established that there's no reason to be doing anything. There's no reason to actually be, like, engaged in struggle or anything like that. You know, because, I mean, yeah, I guess you could resist death squads if you think that that's the best use of your time. But, I mean, really, fuck that. We gotta be anti-revisionists.
If you really want to understand why things like this are happening, you gotta listen to what we have to say. Folks, we live under a system called imperialism.
I mean, and what I love is when he actually goes to say this stuff. There will be 80% of it will be the most bog standard thing that anyone who has spent any time reading just like any sort of mainline, you know, Marxist theory of pretty much any tendency would say. And then the other 20% is some buck-wild Nazi bullshit.
It is the rule of the world by big banks and big monopolies that are trying to hold back development and keep humanity poor. Starting in the 1890s, capitalism moved into a new stage called imperialism.
Okay, so he's just gonna repeat. We've seen him do this so many fucking times. He's saying the line. This is just gonna be the same shit. So, you know, we don't need to talk about what's going on in Minneapolis because being the ultimate anti-revisionists, he's just going to just say the same shit over again. Because that's a real contribution to the struggle.
Was the dominance of banks over industry, the emergence of an international financial oligarchy, trusts, cartels, and syndicates carving out...
I mean, it's interesting how he sort of takes this, and he manages to plant sort of a fasci framing into fairly bog standard again definition of imperialism as understood by Lenin. Because the obsession with trying to really keep, with trying to make it about the banks versus the industrial capitalists, that is classic fascist maneuvering.
Territorial partition, seizing raw materials and dominating the
I mean, seizing raw materials around the world is kind of how capitalism started, though.
We live under imperialism. And Vladimir Lenin, he wrote about imperialism, the highest stage of capitalism, capitalism in its monopolistic stage.
Like, okay.
But before Vladimir Lenin, Henry Charles Carey wrote about the English system.
Oh god, see, this is one of the things that he's doing now that he no longer pretends to be a communist, is that he brings in this Henry Charles Carey, who basically everybody's forgotten about because what he said was not all that impressive.
And the British Empire, and how the British had developed a system where whole nations were impoverished and economic development was held back and the population was driven down, underworking the Hindu, building up one mighty city whose wealth came at the expense of impoverishing entire nations. You can read what Henry Charles Carey wrote about who it was.
I mean, this is literally, I feel like, word for word what we've seen previously. Like, randomly selected streams a lot of the time. I just go based on the title, and the title often has very little to do with what actually goes on in the stream with him. So, that's like, this is a 3-hour stream, and so far, maybe, I think, being generous, 10 minutes of it was dedicated to disapproving of Death Squad's butt. Yeah. I mean, and it's worth noting, I mean, this is one of the fun things about having just translated produced the first full-length English translation of the work of a theorist who's been dead for a fair while. Let me see, I gotta find, give me a moment, I gotta find, this section. Because, you see, Cullen Tai intersection on, the suffrage. And on the suffrage struggle, she was talking about how, you know, there was a clear class delineation in the suffrage struggle in Britain because, you know, you had these bourgeois feminists who were fighting for suffrage only for women with money, and you had the working class women's movement and the working class movement as a whole calling for universal adult suffrage. Whereas in France, they did not have that, they did not have that division. There had not been a property qualification on the suffrage since the French Revolution, so the suffrage struggle worked differently. So here we go. This is what she says, talking about France. Let us examine France. Here, let me drop the link in chat as well. This is on my Patreon. Let us examine France. The position of the campaigners for women's political rights is incommensurably more complex and confused than in Britain. The principle of property qualifications defended by the British feminists immediately defines their face and their class aspirations. By defending the principle of women's equality, and at the same time supporting the interests of the propertied classes against encroachment by the impudent and ignorant rabble, they have the opportunity to attract the sympathies of the bourgeoisie to position themselves as defenders of property, and in this way ensure the support of their class comrades for their demands. In France, where all adult men are enfranchised, the feminists, in struggling for their own political equality, have no other choice but to proclaim this democratic principle for themselves as well. In this way, independent of their will, their demands are more democratically minded than those of their British comrades. In France, the defense of property-qualified suffrage for women lacks any foundation and does not currently promise any direct benefits for the success of the cause of women. The position of working-class women, and this is where you're going to see why I'm bringing this up in a second, is also more difficult than Britain. There, the struggle for women's suffrage necessarily merges with the proletariat struggle for the further democratization of the electoral system. In France, proletarian women must struggle independently because the rights for which women of the working class are fighting have long since been won by all adult men. One must have a great deal of class consciousness and be deeply permeated by class interest in order to be aware of the intimate connection between the efforts of the proletarian women for full political rights and the democratic demands of the working class as a whole. Though the most advanced champions of the proletariat are permeated by this consciousness, it is of course yet to develop in the broad masses. French social democracy has a great deal of work before it, before the broad masses of the working class can be convinced of the existence of an unbreakable link between the general democratic aspirations of the proletariat and the demand for women's political equality, before the proletariat becomes aware that, in fighting for voting rights for women, they are simultaneously defending the interests of their class as a whole. In other words, what she's talking about here is what we these days call class reductionism. The idea that, you know, if where essentially if that says if, you know, a working class struggle finds itself even a little bit on the same side as some sector of the ruling class on a particular contingent issue, that means that they shouldn't do that. So, like, the class reductionist position here, and she's saying this was an issue in France, was, like, obviously, well, that women's suffrage is, you know, just a liberal bourgeois thing, so, they, you know, the workers shouldn't be getting behind it. Because it would also benefit bourgeois women. And she's saying that's bullshit. It doesn't work like that. Because sometimes you're going to have these things coincide, and that doesn't mean that it should be abandoned, that part of the struggle should be abandoned.
And keep the world poor in order to make themselves rich and drive down living standards and drive down the population. That would not be possible without one thing.
Yes, capitalism.
Socialists. And that's something that it may be hard to swallow.
Oh, wait, he's saying that the reason capitalism does capitalist things is that there are socialists. I remember we watched a stream, a video on stream, like, it was probably like 2 years ago by now. It was Haz walking around a fucking MAGA rally, claiming to winning people over to MAGA communism, and he was actually also talking about the evil socialists.
Especially if you're somebody who, you know, is new to all of this. You're somebody who's critical of capitalism. You say, I'm a socialist, and you say, what are you talking about, Caleb? What in the world do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, in fact, if you are new to all this, and you're saying that, just know that people who aren't new to all this, that's exactly what they say too. Because Caleb, see, this is one of Caleb's little things, is he's full of shit.
This system of imperialism would not be possible. It wouldn't function without socialists. Without AOC, without...
Yeah, I mean, she's not a socialist.
Bernie Sanders.
Not a socialist.
Without the British Labour Party.
Not socialists.
Without the French Socialist Party.
I mean, like, so the idea is anything that calls itself socialist is automatically socialist. You know, there's no actual meaning to these things. If, you know... So I'm guessing he probably then, I mean, if he wants to be consistent, must believe that the Nazis were socialists too.
Without the German Social Democratic Party, the SPD, without socialists, imperialism would not work.
I mean, he's just describing liberals.
And this is a hard pill to swallow. But
I mean, yes, it is really a hard pill to swallow to claim that Bernie Sanders and AOC are socialists. Even more so to claim that the SPD, the German Social Democrats, are socialists. Like, I don't think they even believe that.
True.
I don't even think they claim that.
The labor movement emerged in the Western imperialist countries. Labor unions were created. Socialist parties were created. And originally, the labor unions and the socialist parties' goal was to overthrow capitalism and, have the working class rise up and seize control of the means of production.
Which Caleb also doesn't seem to want.
That changed. And gradually...
well, yes, they ceased to be socialists.
Socialism, as a movement, or social democracy, the Second International, became a mechanism for making imperialism work more effectively.
And your point is?
And in fact, they openly called it so. And Edward Bernstein, who was the leader of social democracy in Austria,
it's not Bernstein, it's Bernstein. Bernstein. He's Austrian. Eduard Bernstein.
Actually came up with a concept. He called it evolutionary socialism.
Which is something, actually, the Fabians had already come up with before him.
Or revisionism. He said the movement is everything, and the goal is nothing. That the Western system is gradually, one step at a time, becoming more and more socialistic, and that the West is the most advanced.
And, like, how many of the people that he just described there would still actually agree with Eduard Bernstein about that? Like, is there anyone who would look at, like, the modern capitalist system and go, yeah, everywhere you go, you see more of a movement towards socialism? I mean, maybe Caleb might, because...
colonizing...
But that's because Caleb says silly things.
The developing countries and bringing them along, and eventually they'll become more and more socialistic, and that the movement is everything, the goal is nothing, and that capitalism in the Western countries is gradually becoming more and more progressive with the 8-hour workday and universal male suffrage, and that eventually the West is just gradually becoming a center of social progress.
It's sort of a center for political innovation, you might say.
And that all kinds of reforms that socialists fought for actually made imperialism stronger. For example,
let's remember. I mean, the last time I actually heard him describing things that he considered political objectives of the CPI, it was literally the sorts of reforms that these, like, social democrats and social liberals fought for. I mean, it's all bring back the New Deal kind of stuff.
Example, before first grade in America, what do you go to? You go to kindergarten. Well, we don't speak German in America, do
we? Why did he say it that way?
Grade in America, what do you go to? You go to kindergarten.
Like, that needs to be clipped. That absolutely, please, somebody, like, clip that for me. Like, drop it in the Discord. Just him saying, kindergarten!
Well, we don't speak German in America, do we? Right? But why
is
it that we call, the grade that you go to in school before first grade kindergarten? It's because they had it in Germany first.
Actually, and the thing about Germany is they don't call it the same thing.
Socialists, German social democrats and trade unions demanded public education and daycare.
Also, the thing is that at the time that the concept was introduced in the U.S., yes, lots of people in the U.S. spoke German. Like, if you go to Cincinnati city center, not all that far from where I am right now, and you look at the old buildings, and you look at the stonemasonry, you will find lots of stuff in German there, because German, up until about, 1914, was one of the major languages being spoken. I mean, it still has some... It's not completely gone, but actually World War I did seriously curtail that with the anti-German language laws and things like that. But, you know, in the time that he's talking about, yeah, I mean, in order to be a telephone operator, you actually had to know German in Cincinnati.
They organized and they protested for it, and the German emerging imperialist state was pretty weak, and Western capitalism in Germany was particularly weak, and there was a rising, powerful socialist movement, the German Social Democratic, is that actually it was in their interest as an emerging imperialist power to have kindergarten.
I mean, yes, it's called making concessions. Like, that is a thing that the ruling class does when they want to try to calm people down. They make concessions. Like, the 8-hour day was a concession, too.
Because the children would all learn to march in line. They would get military training. And what was intended to be a reform, something to, you know, to fight for the working class against the capitalists, was actually a mechanism for making German imperialism.
Well, now, I mean, let's be clear what the actual nature of the reform was. The reason that workers were fighting for it is because workers, and particularly working women, had a situation where they had no childcare solutions available to them. And so there were all sorts of things that were being demanded around the same time. In some places, what they were demanding is like having on-site creches and things like that. And so kindergarten, as Caleb would put it, because he is just a little golem, was a part of that, you know. The reason that was a demand is because that was actually going to alleviate the pressure on working people to deal with, like, childcare.
Work better. And that there are many, many examples of this. And in the lead up to World War I, that became very, very clear. World War I would never have happened without the British Labour Party, without the German Social Democratic Party.
I mean, absolutely true.
And that socialism as a movement,
I mean,
revisionism, became an essential part of making imperialism function.
I mean, yes, if we accept that whatever people who call themselves socialists do is socialism, sure. I mean, you could also say that all of these people abandoned socialism because they had integrated themselves into a capitalist power structure the minute they started to play capitalist electoral politics. So, necessarily, they're going to move away from any kind of a revolutionary position as a result.
There was a faction in the ruling class, a wealthier faction, that understood that in order to dominate the world and impoverish the world, they needed a more tightly controlled capitalism.
I mean, he talks about it in terms of, like, as if the goal is to... as if the stated goal is to impoverish the world. The stated goal, the goal is to enrich themselves. It's just that you can't enrich yourself and concentrate all that wealth without impoverishing a huge number of people. But this is one of the things that he very much tries to avoid when he's talking economics, because if you do that, then you can't actually hold his position that actually that Marxists want to have billionaires.
The Fabian Society in Britain, right? H.G. Wells and a lot of these intellectuals, Bertrand Russell and others, they realized that in order to make
libs
imperialism work, you needed capitalism to be more tightly controlled. The Round Table Group that was created.
This is a discussion about why he isn't calling for his organization to do anything to protect communities from ICE, remember? Like, if anyone's just walking in here, something like that, doesn't know what we're looking at, this started out with him saying, oh, you know, I guess you could oppose the death squads you know, if you feel that's a good use of your time, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not that I'm saying that I'm for those things. It's terrible, but, like, I mean, is that really the best use of your time when you could be sitting here listening to me blather on?
The estate of Cecil Rhodes, right? Cecil Rhodes was the colonizer of Africa. Rhodesia was what Zimbabwe was called before it won its independence. The colonizer of Africa, Cecil Rhodes. The Rhodes...
I mean, one of the colonizers of Africa.
Scholar program, this big colonizer. He realized that you need a more tightly controlled...
Like, is this... Have we already moved away? We got a few minutes to go. Let's see. Okay, for the last few minutes, there's apparently a documentary coming out about the sort of
on February 12th,
right-wing about the union busting shit over at the Young Turfs, are everybody's favorite channel. The documentary, I've seen some clips from it. It looked interesting. This is like the first 40 minutes of it. We're not going to get to see much of it, but I was thinking of having a look at it.
Workers at the Young Turks came forward with a union.
This Twitter page pops up.
If you want to see the whole thing, I just dropped the link in chat.
Up out of nowhere, right? And it's TYT Union.
They'd used card check, an election process in which 50%, I mean, if 50, let help, Bernie.
If 50% of workers in a bargaining unit plus one sign a card saying they want to join a union, they will have a union.
And it's worth noting that was going to be passed into federal law. Like, literally, when Obama took office, the only thing that was needed was for him to sign it. It had already been passed. Oh, fucking hell. Fuck YouTube.
End of discussion. End of this.
Yeah, so there was what was called the Employee Free Choice Act, and it would have actually set up union elections the way Sanders just described it there. And one of the things the Democrats said, like the entire campaign was, you know, there's the Employee Free Choice Act, there's a law codifying Roe, and a bunch of other things that have been passed. They're ready on day one. They need to be signed, but we need to have Obama in office in order to do it. And Obama got in office, and he said he wasn't going to do it. And that was the last time anyone really talked about any of those things.
End of discussion. Fine. End of relationship.
After 9 days of silence, the company formally rejected voluntary recognition, saying they were prepared to voluntarily recognize the union, but only after a second election was conducted on terms more favorable to the company. While they wanted people to believe they were protecting the democratic will of the workers, it was in fact, as labor journalist Sarah Jones pointed out, classic union busting.
Yeah. Okay, so it is time to wrap up. Thank you to everyone who joined in. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and if you would like to support the stream, that is always very much appreciated, and you can do that here. I've got a new short crowdfunded translation project that I'm working on. I'm nearly halfway there. I just need $94 to fully fund it. I'm going to drop that link, and if anyone can spare it and wants to contribute to that, that is very much appreciated. And I will be back on Friday at 11:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and I look forward to seeing you then. Have a good week and try to stay safe.